Hello everybody, today I'm going to teach you how to make this guy, which is passata. Well, what I call passata. It's not really a traditional recipe, but it's really tasty and it keeps well in the jar. I'll even show you how to jar with the cola jars. If you don't have the cola jars and have these guys, then I'll show you how to put it in normal jars as well. Okay, let's get going. Now traditionally with your passata, you blanch whole tomatoes, you peel them, you de-seed them and all that sort of stuff, and then blend them. I think that's kind of time consuming, and I want all the goodness that's in the skin and the seeds and all that stuff. I don't want to get rid of it, I don't want to throw it out, I want it in me essentially. So I get whole tomatoes, this is 2 kilos, I cut it up into chunks. I get an onion, again, see it's pretty chunky. Here's a bulb of garlic. I've got parsley from the garden, oregano, rosemary. I've got thyme growing, so I just grab that and I like to throw it in. Now I also do something a little crazy and I put leafy greens in it. Now these are beetroot and chard and I think a bit of spinach, just things I just found growing in the veggie patch. So I grab them and pretty much put it all together. So let's go get a pot and throw it all in and start cooking. So here we are, where the magic happens, where the concoction gets all put together. First things first, bit of oil. Now I use a nice light olive oil because your dark olive oils have got, you know, they're not as filtered as much, so they tend to smoke and all that sort of stuff. A light olive oil is great for cooking. I get my onion, throw it in. Get my garlic, let's stick that in. I'm going to give it a bit of a stir. You know what? A little bit more oil. Sorry I'm reaching across the camera. Terrible. Okay, so there's a bit more oil in there. Now let's, not really, I don't want to brown the onions. I just want them to go soft. Let's do that. Stir, 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 stir. So I've been cooking for a couple of minutes, and as you can see, the onions and garlic, it's all softening up nicely, it's got a lovely smell, all that stuff. So now, I put the tomato in. Now, I don't know if I mentioned before, but this is 2 kilos of tomato, with 1 onion and 1 bulb of garlic so far. There we go. Oh, oh, oh. Almost a disaster. There we go. We're in. Now, the slow part. We're going to just cook this down for a while. I'm not going to put the herbs in just yet. I'm going to let it cook, and then once we start getting the liquids in there, then I'm going to add the herbs and a bit of salt and pepper and all that sort of stuff. But for now, we're going to put a lid on this guy and leave it for, maybe an hour on slow heat. So we've been cooking for about half an hour. I've been stirring on a low heat. I know I said an hour, but look, we're doing alright. This is coming along nicely. So I'm going to start adding some herbs and the chard and those leafy greens. Now when I cut it up, I mean look at that. Look, that's a parsley stalk. Look at that fella. Most people will throw that out. I think it's full of nutrients, it's full of flavour. Let's get it in there and let's put it in our bodies, all that goodness, you know. Leafy greens. Big chunky cuts. Look, that's a beetroot stalk. See that? That's pretty good, that's chunk. There's flavour in there. Let's just throw it all in. Let's see how it goes. I've been known to put chilli in this. You know, I'm not putting chilli in today, but I've done it before. And it turns out pretty good. Just use whatever you've got in your garden. Let's, you know, let's not get too crazy with, oh, don't put this in, don't put that in. Let's stir that all up. Man, this is almost like a farmer's bolognese sauce minus the meat. Mix that all up. Let's cook it for another like 10 minutes with the lid on, and then I'll probably take the lid off and just simmer it for like I don't know, I said an hour last time. Maybe it's only going to be half an hour. Let's find out. It's been cooking for, what was it, 10 minutes with the lid on, then I took the lid off, and we've gone about 30 to 45 minutes with no lid on a low heat. And as you can see, it's starting to thicken up a little bit. Now this is pretty chunky sauce, so I was thinking about mashing it a little bit with a potato masher. I'll just get in there and more dishes really, isn't it? But let's just break that up just a tad. You don't need to do this. I've just changed my mind for some reason and decided I want it a little bit squishier. Oh, I'm even left-handed mashing. That's some skill. Okay, it's starting to look pretty good. I'm going to let it cook for, I don't know, maybe another half hour, and then I reckon we're ready to jar. A lot is going on here. Let me explain. We've got this pot here with the lids and the clips and the rubber seals. They've been dunked in boiling water and they're sterilising there nicely. Sterilisation is the key. The oven is on with the jars in there. You know what? I'm going to turn it off now. Oh, what's going on? There we go. Done. Oven's off. We've got the sauce. It's been cooking for about another 45 minutes. A kettle of boiling water is already sitting there ready to go. This guy here is what we're going to be using for the hot water bath to do the final sterilisation. I've got this in here at the moment, just sterilising away to help me put the sauce into the jars. So yeah, that's what we've got now. Let's get jarring. These are a lifesaver. You want one of these. Let's try and do it without making a mess. Beautiful. It's not too hot. Perfect. So we've done that one. Let's see, let's move that there. There we go, that's going to be a bit of a pain. So we've got these guys, these rubber seals. My hands are obviously clean. These are a bit of a nightmare to tell you the truth. There you go. We did it. Now I've got to check that seal, just make sure that rubber, that jar's hot. Oh, oven started to do its thing again. Like that. So we don't want it to be twisted or anything like that. You've got to double check that with those Vacola jars. Now we get on this guy, put it there, get a clip, put it there. So there's your Vacola one done, like that, and then from there we put it in the hot bath. I'll just get all the others done before I show you what to do there. But this guy, when we do this is a little more difficult because it doesn't quite fit. So this is just a normal jar I'm using. Oh, that was lucky. Okay. I might, let's just put it in there. Just want to, again, clean hands everybody. Yeah, it's alright. I might just, let's clean that up around there. Okay, and we're good there. And I've got the lid, it's still hot. A little twist, not too much. You don't want to compress that seal in that jar too much. So that's to do the jars. Now let's get on with the rest. So the final stage, we've got our sauces in the jars. They're a little hot. Oh, sorry, reaching across again. I've got in the pot, I've got about half a kettle of water in there, boiling away. Now, get an old tea towel, stick it in the bottom. The reason you do that is now you're going to, quickly, don't burn yourself, put the jars in and, let's get this in, let's not hold hot jars. Put them in onto the tea towel, in the water, and that way the jars aren't sitting directly onto the pot, and as it bubbles it's less likely to crack. You sometimes get some crack and all that sort of stuff. It's a shame, but the rest are fine. Let's get this guy in. And number 3. A little bit of a shuffle around. Like that. Now I've boiling water already from the kettle. I pour it in just to get it to the rim of the jars. You want the lids out, you don't want to submerge the jars fully. So I get it about there. We're sitting at about, just to double check, about here on the jar. So here we go. Oh, excuse me, reach across there. Put the lid on to get that boiling again. And then I'll cook it for about 10-15 minutes. I check every now and then. And yeah, that's what I do. We will check back to the pot in about 10 minutes. Here we are, the end of the road. This has been boiling for about 15 minutes. I've turned it off, let it cool down for about another 10 or 15 so I can get in and get these jars out. But done, there's your jar one. Now you can't push that in, which is nice. You know when the, every jar you crack it makes that popping noise, and once you've cracked it, it pops in and out, that lid. It's not doing it, so we know that's sealed properly. If it hasn't sealed properly, then you can twist it a little bit more, try and boil it up again. If it doesn't work, then you gotta eat it straight away. These guys, you've got to wait until it cools down before you can take this off. I leave it overnight and then again test it. Can you push it in and out? Has that sealed? If not, then you can't keep it. You could probably cook it up and eat it maybe the next morning, fingers crossed. But if it's sealed and everything's sealed, then, you know, I've left them for 12 months before and they've lasted well. I feel like we've really achieved something today. And well, I don't have anything else to say, so thanks for coming on this adventure with me. Have a good day. Bye.